Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Wakefield for October 27th, 2014. We'll start by going through the approval of our last meeting's minutes from October 15th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Paul, second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Public participation. Steve, do people sign
No,
in,
Mr.
or-
Chairman, no one has signed in, but as the board discussed last week, I think there are people here that do want to speak during the discussion regarding the trash.
Trash. Okay, great, super. All right. Next item is the scheduling of a public hearing regarding tax classification. We'd like to schedule that for Monday, November 24th at 7:40 PM. Can I get a motion to schedule that
So
hearing?
moved.
Second.
Moved by Paul, second by Phyllis. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, scheduled. The next item is the Wakefield Youth Action Team. I believe they're here to present. Catherine, go ahead. Introduce yourselves and
Sure.
have at it.
So good evening. Can everyone hear me? Hello. My name is Kara Showers, and I am the youth coordinator for the Wake Up Coalition, a substance abuse prevention coalition that works out of the town of Wakefield's Health Department and Board of Health. So thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. I just wanted to acknowledge both Catherine Dingra, who's in the audience as our substance abuse prevention coordinator, so she runs the whole Wake Up Coalition, and then Ruth Clay, who is here as the Wakefield Health Director. So two of our biggest supporters are over there. I am excited to be here. Steve had a great time at our Photo Voice Gallery opening a few weeks ago, and has commented many times that the youth did such a great job on this very interactive, exciting project. We know we have just a few minutes on the agenda this evening, so we did create a sort of double side for you. I hope you all see that in front of you. But essentially, Photo Voice is a project that we were able to undertake this summer. So the youth had cameras and were able to go out into the community and take pictures, and are now about to have our voice heard. So I'd like to pass the torch over to Nikki, who will give you a little more information.
Hello, I'm Nikki, Wakefield Youth Action Team Leader, and our job as Wakefield Youth Action Team Leaders is we work to improve the health of teens in our community, and what we do is we ask ourselves these questions. What in Wakefield helps me live a healthy life, and what in Wakefield makes it hard for me and my peers to make healthy choices? Now, we ask ourselves these questions before going out and doing our projects in the community, and the major project that we did over the summer was Photo Voice, as Kara said. We went out into the community and we looked for things that we loved in the community be improved to the level of the things that we loved. So Marissa is here to talk about some of the things that we really look to make the rest of the community up to par with.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm a Wakefield Youth Action Team Leader. There are many numerous community assets in Wakefield, and we've definitely portrayed that through our photos, as well as taking pictures of aspects of our community to be improved. We also took pictures of the positive pieces of Wakefield. We discovered many great areas of Wakefield on our photography walks. Many of the positive pictures we took were things that we really loved about Wakefield, things like the lake, the beautiful landscape and flowers, the available resources for kids like playgrounds, and also the farmers market came to mind, and they all showed up in our shots. Most of us have lived in Wakefield all of our lives and loved the activities that Wakefield provides for everyone. Events like the Holiday Stroll and the Italian Festival are fun for people of all ages. As photographers, we truly believe that these photos are beneficial in showing how amazing the features of living in Wakefield are. That being said, teen activities and hangout spots were not something we found very common.
So I'm Joe, and obviously an issue I'm sure every single person here has dealt with is underage drinking and smoking, and this is apparent in littering around Wakefield, but besides the littering, also another major thing is the way that kids grow up. And because if you start at an early age underage drinking or smoking, those lead into later bad habits, and because of that, we believe tackling it at an early age would be the most effective way. So the pictures are more in there of the underage drinking. And we found that what would be a way to tackle this? I'm sure a lot of you have dealt with how to reduce, and we thought we teamed up with the Wakefield Police Department for the Text 411, and it's for non-emergency things where you see partying or anything that seems somewhat suspicious. And if you do that, we believe, and other towns have enacted this, it reduces the rates of parties and hopefully will reduce the rate of drunk driving or anything around that nature. Another thing we want to do is kind of clean around parks, making areas accessible for family events and things. For example, the cleaning of Moulton Park in Wakefield, it has reduced a lot of partying, and because of this, we believe improving towns or lighting them up where it might seem shady, that will give or reduce drinking and smoking. And some of us believe that this drinking and smoking is due to the lack of places for teens to hang out.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a Wakefield Youth Action Team leader, and I'm going to talk about the lack of places to hang out for teenagers of our age. And like around town, there are plenty of things for younger children to do, like going to the playgrounds, but there's not a lot for kids our age. And we believe that if there was more options for healthy and active fun, it could really kind of reduce the amount of kids that are getting into trouble in their teen years. So some of the ideas we came up with for some quick fixes and some that are more for the long run include a teen center, which could be like a location in town designated for all of us to hang out with our friends and maybe like have a basketball court or a skate park outside. And then also activities scheduled on the common like yoga or Zumba classes, a job fair to help youth find new activities and make some money. One of our big ones was food trucks with Wi-Fi around the common area. And last but not least, Friday night events like a concert with local bands or a mood come to.
Hi, I'm AJ, and I would just like to say thank you for your time, and we look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Do you have any
Great.
questions?
No, thank you very much. It's a great presentation. That's a great, I have a few questions, but fellow board members might want to have. You good? No, go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I
It's okay.
just want to say congratulations to you guys for coming in. It takes a lot of guts to come in here and get on camera and speak, so congratulations right off the bat. Great job with all the photos and coming up with some ideas for ways for kids to have activities around town. I couldn't agree with you more that there needs to be more for teenage kids. Have the youth, for the real young kids, there's always activities, places to go. There used to be a YMCA in town. Hopefully the Boys and Girls Club activating will help some of that, and some of the summertime activities around the lake. But in the wintertime, winter is long, cold, and dark, and there's very little for kids to do. You have to leave town to go to the movies or something like that. So I applaud your ideas, and I will take them in strong consideration, so.
Thank you.
Good job.
Paul?
Guys are still at it. And last time I saw you, you were diligently working in the town hall in the selectmen's, the old selectmen's room. Great job. And you were working on the same project back then, weren't you? Wasn't that part of this? You're doing a great job. You have some great ideas. I love the ideas about utilizing the common in whichever way you can possibly do. Shows, concerts, it all works in. Anything that we can do as far as the event committee to help along that road might be something that we can work on down the road as far as getting things off the ground. So keep us informed, and we may be able to do something for you. Great job, all of you.
Thank you.
Ann?
Again, great job. And I think you mentioned a teen center and things for places for teens to go. We have a new recreation commissioner. We have a new the Boys and Girls Club. That in combination with a little community help seems to be a perfect recipe. So as someone who grew up here, we went to houses. I mean, we back 1,000 years ago, there was no place to hang either in Wakefield once you got to a certain age. So that's, your energy with some new things we've established really could be wonderful. Great job.
Just real quick, I'm in full support of whatever you guys do. Anything to influence our younger kids to avoid bad habits that you guys talked about. I would be in full support of whatever that would be, as long as we had the appropriate funding to help. We would certainly help. I would anyway. I would be in support of that. So, good job, and keep up the good work, and come to us with ideas like everybody said. So, okay.
Great. Hey, I just had a quick question. There's, on your list, there seems to be about 10 of you, and you might have mentioned it in your, how many students are involved in this organization?
There are 10.
There's 10?
Yes.
And how did you get involved? I'm just curious, like, how did you folks end up sitting here? Is there a call put out to the school? Did you guys, I mean, how's this of this? Go ahead.
It was put out to the school like through email. I think my mom told me about it because I'm interested in photography and all that, so I was told about it and I was really interested about it.
And then there was an interview process.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was like a few more kids that interviewed other than us, and I guess we were pretty good then.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me back here, but yeah, we actually had 25 high school students, both from Wakefield High and from the Voc, apply for, actually, there's gonna be 8 positions, but we had such a great outpouring of interest that we went ahead and hired 10 students to actually go to the vocational school. You'll hear, we're giving another presentation tomorrow night, and both of them will be here at that presentation. And then we also have a freshman at Suffolk Wakefield High. So a great group, good mix of kids, obviously, you can see. So just a little bit of extra information for you, Vice Chair.
Thank you.
Great, no, that's good. So congratulations, obviously you picked the right folks. They're also well-spoken and so confident in front of the camera. I think they put us to shame. We're nervous up here, so good job. Good presentation, you're clearly the right leaders. No, congratulations, keep up the good work. I'll echo what we said, whatever we can do to help. We're always looking for ways to improve things. We love people who come here with, there's lots of people who walk around citing problems, not just a smaller subset of people who actually show up with solutions. So you've got answers, you've got ideas, bring them forward, and we'll do our best to implement them. I mean, it's nothing better than good ideas for kids coming from kids. It's completely smart. So, and I know Steve's been working, even just kind of walking downtown and talking to kids. He's doing the management by walking around thing and talking to kids downtown and saying, hey, I see you just hanging out. What can we do for you? What can we build for you or do for you to give you a place to go? So we're definitely have our eye on this and definitely interested. So keep the ideas coming and keep the information and flow of communication strong. Congratulations, nice job.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Great job. Good kids.
All right. All right, our next item on the agenda, Steve, it's the town employee of the quarter. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes, one thing that we've implemented over the past few years is talking about recognizing our employees that do go up above and beyond their normal call. And one of the rules is that you cannot nominate someone who reports to you directly, because I think that you have to nominate someone within another department. I talked with my department heads, and we talked about getting nominations out, and that's very difficult, choosing who to pick. But this recent one really stuck home. So Todd, why don't you come up here? Sit down. Todd Bowden is our, sit down over there. Not up to me. The principal's office, yeah. Todd Bowden is really our network manager in our IT department, and he brings a great wealth of knowledge, can explain it in language that is not Klingon, as I've asked him to. Please explain things in English, which he does. And after the last few years that we've had, to have the superintendent of schools nominate someone in the town's IT department for all the work that he's done really is showing how well we're working together, and is a real testament to what Todd has done. In fact, when there was a glitch right before Labor Day with some items, it was Todd who spent a lot of hours monitoring the system, above and beyond to make sure that the schools opened up okay. So above what he does for the town side every day, great choice, great employee, and someone who I really rely on through his department, and David Knox and Mark O'Malley in there, so they've done a great job for us, and it really was, when the superintendent nominated him, it really was a no-brainer on my part, so I give you Todd our Employee of the Month,
That's great.
or quarter, I should say.
Congratulations, Todd. Anybody?
Thank you.
Before I go.
Just a simple congratulations.
Great, thanks.
Good job.
Congratulations,
Yep.
great job.
Thank you.
So, I'll say, I had the chance to work with Todd kind of directly through our IT committee we had a few years back. A lot of issues in the town and the future of IT in the town, including the relationship and juxtaposition of IT between the town and the schools, the town part of the government and the school system. And I know there was a lot of friction there, and Todd was always the guy that could, kind of walk the halls of both sets of buildings and be smiled at for a while. I know things are way better now, but I think to echo what Steve said, the idea that your nomination as Employee of the Quarter came from Superintendent of Schools is just very telling. It's more significant given the history than it otherwise would be. So congratulations to you. And we do have a little gift for you, so come on up.
Thanks.
Congratulations, yeah, thanks a lot, really appreciate it. Good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up and running.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, super. All right, next item on the agenda. That's a nice start, by the way, to a meeting, all good stuff.
Yeah.
So that,
Oh, which brings us to the discussion on refuse collection. So next item is a discussion and potentially a vote on refuse collection for residential properties that have, I think it's over 4 units, right?
Yes.
More than 4, so. Mr. Stinson, you're gonna present on that?
Yes. Well, I've given you a memo on some of the important votes that have taken place back since the 70s on rubbish collection. Back in 1972, the Board of Public Works at the time voted to provide rubbish collection for 1, 2, 3s, and 4s families. They all cannot find where it's written down or where it's voted, but they grandfathered certain locations. And I've talked to a person who was on the board in 1976, Dennis Hogan, who remembers that discussion. He thought they voted it, but wasn't sure. So they voted approximately 28 locations. Why? My guess is you'll see it on the second page, that they cannot handle a dumpster. There are some places that might have been 4 families at the time and went to 6, and no one ever brought that forward. But that is why. He does remember voting that, or discussing that, I should say. But we cannot locate any paperwork that says who or how or why. And we've been picking those places up for as long as I know, and in that. So there's a total of 28 of them. I gave you a list of those. And with that, any questions you have, I can try to answer.
Phyllis, go ahead.
Well, at our last meeting, I brought up the question of this dumpsters and the rubbish disposal, because I've received several phone calls, I've been stopped. It seems that our, whatever you want to call them, rules and regulations, we have over 1,000 people with dumpsters, but people coming in now, for the past, after 1970, you have to get if you have more than 4 units, you have to get a permit and you have to have a dumpster. Beyond that, okay? And if that's the way it should be, that's the way it should be for everybody. Anything over 4 units, and people that have to do that, follow those rules and regulations, then that rule and regulation be for everyone. There should not be somebody, like we have, from what Mr. Stinson has given us here, we have people with 16 units that don't have a dumpster, that they're putting out barrels. I even went by 1 Salem Street. I don't know how many units are in that complex, but they don't have a dumpster. It's not right. I think there are no set rules, there have never been no set rules as far as this is concerned. But with this new system that we have, and with the fact that anybody coming in now or over the past 10 years have to get a permit, if they have over 4 units, has to get a dumpster, I think that we should, myself, a discussion with the board, I think that what we should do is make it uniform. I think it's something that we should do. Who has come in, and maybe you would talk a little bit about it, Ray, about people with dumpsters. I mean, I know, why don't you come up to the table, Ray? He had to go and get a permit to get a dumpster, so.
Sure.
Well, I bought my building in.
Real quick, Ray,
Yeah, name it.
just state your name and address.
Ray Sanderson at 337 Water Street.
Great,
I
thank
bought
you.
my building in about 20 years ago, and it was 5 units, and they told me anything above a 3 or 4 unit, I had to have a dumpster. But now I see all these 6 units, 8 units, but they only got 4 barrels. I don't see any 5 or 6 barrels at these units, it's only 4.
Doesn't,
I can,
Go ahead, Ray.
I can answer why there's only 4. Remember that with rubbish collection, you'll see that in the votes. The maximum number, when we had trash barrels or bags, were 8 items for a single family, 16 for a multifamily. Didn't matter whether it was 2, 3, or 4. The vote that was taken 2 years ago, if we didn't go to automated refuse collection, meant that the number of bags would be 4 for a single family and 8 for a multifamily. As we said, that the legal requirement was 4 families, so the grandfathered ones, no matter what, we would not give more than 4 containers. So that's the most that anyone could obtain was 4 containers. And they would have to make that work if they wanted to keep refuse collection. Okay.
Ann?
I have a slight problem with keep calling it grandfathering when there's absolutely no proof.
Okay.
Or that there was a vote even.
They're the words that Dennis Hogan used when I talked.
Right, but we've adopted it in a lot of language. I understand Mr. Hogan remembers a discussion, but he doesn't know if he had a vote. This could be just a little bit of tradition, which really isn't grandfathering,
Right.
which is a statutory classic term.
Yeah.
So I'm not very comfortable, going along with the grandfathering necessarily with everybody. And looking at this list, there's some on this list that are apartment.
Yeah,
Houses.
there's one.
Not even a multifamily dwelling. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't understand Tull Street not having
I
a
don't-
dumpster. That's crazy.
I can't tell you why.
And if there's no information, we have no documents about grandfathering, then we don't grandfather. On Phyllis's point, I don't know that I would be so black and white to say absolutely everyone over 4 has to have a dumpster, because physically, I'm not sure all these houses, how they're built, could handle that. So I'm not, rule, but some of these are crazy that don't have a dumpster.
No, I definitely agree. I can't tell you, and no one else in the department can tell you why they were selected. We don't have
Means they
idea.
don't exist.
I will say one thing on, a thing Phyllis mentioned is that we looked up 1 Salem Street. 1 Salem Street is listed legally as a 4-unit dwelling. Whether they have more in there or not, I don't know, but legally it's listed as a 4.
And is that what you use to determine how many units are in there?
Correct.
Just whatever the
Yeah,
list is?
and I know for a fact there are some 4s that, because they've
Might have more
called,
than
they
4.
have 5.
Yeah.
But if it's legally listed as a 4, they get the 4.
So what, first of all, what it sounds like is we have a law that for whatever reason, none of which is necessarily appropriate, might have been a nice gesture, but no appropriate reasons with respect to these certain properties, which to me sounds like, now that we're talking about it, how can we possibly perpetuate that? We have no legal basis to do it. It would just simply be wrong. Actually, I'd be curious to hear from Town Council, Mr. Mullen, just your thoughts on the current status of the regulations that apply to this, and you know, what's the right thing to do?
I've had the same thoughts that Selectman Santos raised. We shouldn't be using the term grandfathering. In Massachusetts, grandfathering is exclusively a function of statutes. So we say that if we pass a new zoning bylaw, everyone who has been making use of prior law before that is grandfathered. But we say that because there's a statute, Chapter 40A, that says we have to treat it that way. In this case, there is no statute that for any grandfathering. We're free to structure whatever kind of administrative regime makes sense, subject only, I would say, to anti-discrimination laws. We couldn't say, for example, you know, you need a dumpster unless you're Irish. But
We wouldn't say that.
But otherwise, the test is just one of mere rationality.
Right.
Yeah, okay. And so let me just make sure we're all clear. So let's say I had a 5-unit dwelling. I get a permit, and what does the permit under our bylaw entitle me to if I apply for it and it's granted? What am I getting? The right to have my trash picked up, or more barrels, or what's the, or just for just to get a dumpster?
Well-
So what's the alternative? Just use fewer, I mean, do I have to apply for the rule?
No, if you have a dumpster, you have to go through the Board of Health. If you built a new 5-family, you'd have to go to the Board of Health. You would have to have a dumpster, and you'd have to go to the Board of Health to get a permit for the dumpster.
And don't they get that removed privately? They pay out of.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, what if I don't want a dumpster? What if I have 5 units and you know, they don't have a lot of trash and, you know, 3 barrels covers it?
You could contract with a
that's not right.
private rubbish service,
It
and
just means if
Yeah.
you have more than 4 units, the town's not picking up your trash. Right, that's the bottom line, and we do pick up these folks' trash, and should
Does he
not
know
have,
that?
so. For any of them who feel
just answered it.
aggrieved or wronged by this decision, I'd say they got a good deal for a lot of years, it sounds like. Okay,
Go ahead.
Paul, go ahead.
For clarification, is that a bylaw, that anything over 4 needs a dumpster? Is that something that is that through the zoning code, or 190 zoning code?
Go ahead, Tom.
I think,
Or Steve.
you know, used to be the Board of Public Works prior to the charter. Now it's the Board of Selectmen can set all policy
Right.
under our general bylaw, okay? It has been the policy set, other than these previous owned units.
Right.
Previous units, that if you had more than 4 units, we did not provide trash pickup, okay? You may have had a trash room, you may have had private companies come in, you may have had a dumpster. You had different ways to do it, but we as a town publicly did not pick up your trash, with the acceptance of some of these that had been historical, or what have you.
Okay, so what we're saying here is enforce the law and let these
Right.
folks
But,
know.
and the policy lies with the Board of Selectmen now.
Right, and unless we change it tonight,
Right.
would be to let these folks know as soon as possible, hey, guess what? We're not gonna be picking up your trash anymore, right? So, okay, Pat?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Brian brings up the fact that you don't have to mandate that they get a dumpster, but first of all, I agree that they should all abide by the law, the bylaw, and be taken off of our public trash program. They're benefiting, and they've benefited for a long time, and here we just had the whole town mandated that the whole town go to our new automated trash program. It's an inconvenience for a lot of people. It's a learning experience. So, you know, once again, I think now's the time. Now's the right time. We're changing our program. We're looking at our files, and by the way, you folks don't comply, you know, you have until the end of the year. January 1, you have to get off of our program, have something, is number one, is it the owner of the building that needs to comply? And what if that person lives in Austria or something like that, and the tenants say, I don't know where to get, find the owner, blah, blah, blah. I'm just curious about compliance and what if trash starts to pile up at someone's house? You keeping track of that, or?
Well, a couple things. One, we have all the owners because they're on the tax records.
Right.
So we would be sending a letter to the owners. We would also deliver a letter to each of those individual units in that dwelling, but it would be the owner's responsibility. The other question was, what was the other? I forgot already. The other,
No, it's just.
you had another question on that.
No, my question was
Oh.
compliance, and if there was a lot of if they
If
didn't
there's a lot
comply,
of
but
go to the
listen,
Board of Health.
Rick, you already answered my question. These are all taxpayers, or we'd have problems. If they're paying their taxes, they're gonna get the message.
Yeah, but it would go to the Board of Health. Who would enforce that?
Yeah. You wanna come on up and speak? It'd be great if you came up, and I don't know if there's another seat there, but, just so people at home on TV can hear you, so if you don't mind, just state your name and.
Angelo Cayani. I own a 6-unit on Water Street. It was made into a 6-unit in 1950, and I bought it, excuse me, in 1975, and have had trash collection ever since. I have a small parking lot with 9 parking spaces, which is what I need. First by law, and then by the number of tenants I got. And I have no place to put a dumpster. What do I need to do? Throw somebody out, or put up a parking garage like we don't want in Wakefield? I don't know what I do. Where do I go with that? Also, what I thought was a bylaw said that now this is prior to the new trash collection thing, but it said something to the effect that any single-family house could have up to 8 containers on the street for pickup.
Which is,
And a-
was,
and a
just so you know,
multi-
was changed to four containers a few years ago, not related to,
Well, when I looked on the
New trash
website, the town website, it was 8. 8, and for multifamily, it was 16, which I have nowhere near 16 trash barrels or anything out there. So I don't know. I haven't yet, maybe someone can point out where I can find that it says this 4 or 6 requires, because it's not on the website anyplace. Does anybody know where I could find it?
yeah, right
Yeah,
next
it's
to you.
right here.
Oh, you have
Got
it?
it.
Give you that, yeah. Right here, 1972. It's further recommended that rubbish collection be extended to 3 and 4 families. They weren't going over that. And then in 2012, the Board of Selectmen voted to reduce container limits from 8 for single-family homes, and it would be changed to 4, and 16 would be changed to 8 if we went with a new
Okay.
rubbish contract.
Okay, but that wasn't on the website.
No, because
Okay.
Also,
It
the
was gonna
website,
change
the
with the
website
contract.
isn't the final arbiter of what the law is.
No,
When you
I-
go to the
I
clerk's
understand.
office, I mean, if you really wanna get down to it, go down to the clerk's office where everything's officially recorded. Websites are wonderful and, not necessarily up to date.
Okay.
And who knows when you actually read it, I don't know. if it was
This
recent.
summer.
This summer, yeah, so, it might be up to date now. But that is a rule. What do you think about, I mean, it looks like we're in an interesting spot because we've got a law and for whatever reason haven't enforced it. Now we're just talking about doing what we're supposed to do out of fairness to everybody. What are your thoughts about timing? If we could say, hey, next week you don't have trash pickup. Nobody wants to do that. What are your thoughts about a couple of months to figure out a solution for your property?
I don't know, I don't know the solution. I mean, where do I put it?
I mean, I don't know, this isn't about your
Well, I think-
property in particular, but it will, you're gonna have to figure it out. I mean, that's,
Well,
No, that's-
right? I mean, but we don't have time here to go, to look at your property, your plan. There are a lot of ways you can talk, you're gonna have to talk to a private, trash company. They have tons of ideas, right? They know how to go to any situation to solve
Well, I
a trash
think-
problem. And they'll do that for free as part of you becoming their customer.
I think someone has already looked at the property.
Okay?
I mean, if they look at it, they can see that there's just, there's just no place to put it. In 1950, when they put that building together, the laws were probably different as relative to what the building inspector would allow, or whatever the town rules were. Those have probably, I'm sure, have changed. But what do you do with the ones that were built back then?
Yeah,
I just don't know what to do about it.
yeah, it's a tough, yeah, right, it's a tough, situation, especially where it's been somewhat voluntary in the town's part to just take care of these few properties, over the course of the years, and now it's kind of why, I think it's the right change, and it seems to be around the table here, like this is the rule, and there is fairness. The gentleman at the other end of the table, you know, he's dealing with it on his own because he has the same property as yours. He's treated differently than you are, right? So, that's something we really can't have in any situation. What I'm getting at is what might be a reasonable amount of time for you to figure it out. You know, just because I think part of what we're gonna discuss right now, or at least I'd like to hear from my fellow board members on, is Pat suggested January 1st as a compliance date. You know, you want more time? You think that's enough time to figure it out?
I guess I would like
Yeah.
somebody from maybe the DPW or whatever, go down and look and give me a hint as to what I can do. I just don't know what to do with it.
May I?
Yeah, sure, Pat.
Sir, I think to the chairman's suggestion, I think if you contact a trash, you go to, well, but let me finish.
Yeah.
Because if any town that does trash pickup, there's a lot of towns that you have to pay for trash pickup. You don't need to put a dumpster. You have individual barrels for people and someone will come and pick them up. It's just a private trash collection service. And you can sign up for something like that. You don't necessarily, as Brian said, you don't necessarily have to have a dumpster. Whatever kind of program you want, you pass the costs on to your tenants, and it's a cost of doing business. That's what businesses do every day, you know.
Well, if you were renting, you probably wouldn't feel the same.
But every lease worth its ink and paper says that costs that are mandated by the government or regulated by some authority can be passed on to tenants. So, listen, these tenants have benefited for a long time for free trash pickup. And as we also mentioned, we inconvenience a lot of people and in the way of efficiency and change to increase and improve a program in town and make it more efficient and recycle more and, you know, be better to the planet, all that stuff. So, you know, I sympathize with you that it's change. Change is not easy, but it's compliance with the law. It's the bylaw of the town, and unfortunately, it wasn't picked up before, but it's picked up now, and, you know, it's gonna have to be abided by, so. I support Phyllis's and Brian's motion, so, or not a motion, but,
Sure. Any other discussion among board members, especially with respect to maybe time frame for compliance or thoughts on the
I mean, I just think that this isn't an exhaustive list of 4+ unit, you know, more than 4 unit families in the town. So I think it's just a matter of this being just. It just seems that the town's been given these addresses a lot of leeway for a long time, and we have other houses that are not on this list that have to comply with our laws. So I just think that it's just a matter of figuring out whether or not any particular property can withstand a dumpster. If that's the case, if not, then you go to barrels. You have a private company come in. I just think it's just a matter of equity at this point.
Yeah.
I concur about the equity point. We have gentlemen who've been paying for a dumpster, and when I was on the Board of Health, we regulated the dumpsters and made new businesses in new apartments get dumpsters. January 1st seems a little soon to me, only with the holidays coming and people being busy, so, and with the winters that we have. So I would be open for more time, a little more time for people, first of all, for DPW or whoever's doing the notification to all these folks. It's gonna take a little bit of time.
That's a good point.
So I think January 1 does sound too rushed, but for me, it's an,
What about something like 90 days after they receive the notice, after the notices go out? Something like-
that still might run into
How about April
Like the
1st?
middle of the winter?
How about April 1st?
No.
Why?
They should, 2 months is plenty of time. I mean, the people that are coming in now, they have to go do it now. They have 5 units, they gotta get a permit and do it. I think 2 months, January 1st, is plenty of time for us to notify these people and to know that they gotta take care of it.
I'd be more inclined, though, Phyllis, though, to give them that way for notification.
Listen,
for
we
any
had a
rebuttal.
change.
Hold on.
Phyllis, may I have a time to speak?
Paul, you're
please?
good, Paul, go ahead.
Okay, so I think, though, at this point, we've allowed it for so long, as it is right now, giving them an additional 3 months, Phyllis, is fairness, that if the change is going to occur, that's what we're looking for, the change to occur. I think time is a little bit better right now. Communication by the DBW to all of the people that are involved on this, okay, making sure that the landlords are actually notified, because a lot of them are not even in this town. The tax bill,
Yeah.
I think April 1st would be.
It's not like
more.
we're sending the notice by horse, right?
No, but-
If it goes, yeah, just because they're out of town, you know.
I'd be more in favor of voting yes if it was April.
Yeah. All right, what if we said something like, just to throw it out there, February 1st, let me ask, how quickly would you be able to get the 28 letters out
We would send them out.
tomorrow, this week?
Yeah, this week, they'd go
Yeah.
out, because I wanna get them out there and then be able to follow up. And, I know back in 1975, I think it doesn't show it here, but they voted in September a month earlier, because they had planned on voting it.
Yeah.
When you read through the minutes, so, 3 months, personal opinion is, I think that's a good timeframe.
Yeah, I mean, February 1st would be, right, November, December, January, that's 3 months. Maybe a little longer, I don't know. Maybe we do it 90 days from whenever you get the notice out, to be fair.
I think February
Thoughts,
1
Pat?
works. I think February 1's
February
great.
1?
Yeah.
Consistent.
Okay, let me ask town council perhaps, what's the right measure for us to do here? Walk away with a recommendation, take a vote to direct Steve and,
Well, this
you know,
has been a
to-
matter of such long standing, I think it merits an affirmative vote of the board.
Yeah, but the vote would be, I would think, to direct Steve and by extension Rick to go enforce the law and give us to comply,
Yeah.
right? So, does that sound
Sounds good.
reasonable? I know it's not April 1st, but you know what? If they don't want to do it in the middle of the winter, do it next week. No time like the present, too.
Rather than.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think you want to word it as go forth and enforce the law, because that's what they've been doing heretofore. It's just
Or
that
not
the-
doing.
Well, no, it's the regulation that was in effect.
Yes.
Was different than what you are proposing to make. So I think you want to be explicit about the regulatory change, which is from and after February 1, 2015, you want the rule to be that all, residences in excess of 4 units are to be responsible for their own trash, and there shall be no public trash pickup at any such building.
Okay, got it.
Legal or non-legal?
Well, it doesn't matter whether they're legal or non-legal. If we find out about a non-legal multifamily, that should be referred to the building inspector forthwith for enforcement.
Right. Which is the normal course, so, okay. Are we all okay? I mean, I'll just proceed. Can I get a motion that we, I don't know, is it?
I make a motion.
Yeah, but I'll
Yep,
a motion
go
that
ahead.
as of February 1st, 2015, all residential properties in excess of 4 units shall cease having their trash picked up by the town and need to make other arrangements. And further, that we direct our town administrator through the DPW to notify those residences, post haste, about the impending change.
Okay.
Phyllis, you want to make that motion?
Yes, you did it for me. Fine, okay.
Seconded by Paul. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great, it's unanimous. So, thank you, Rick. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Could I get a copy of that?
Appreciate the input.
Well, now I've written on it, got my notes on it. I can get you one though. Yeah, if you wanna stop by the town hall. Sure.
There you go.
Well, does someone have one I can steal?
Yeah, you can have this.
I have notes all over.
I printed it out. The 4 sheets, Rick?
Hi.
Thank you.
Here, see which ones you want, sir. I have 4. Which ones you looking for?
All right. Next item on the agenda, 4D, is the town meeting update. Mr. Mayo.
Just very quickly, Mr. Chairman, we are still on 17th at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium at the Galvin School. The chairs have actually been placed in the, it's quite a sight to see. And so we will be having the regular town meeting there in November. As the board of members, they did approve the warrant and close the warrant and approve it at our last meeting. I am happy to say that the Finance Committee has recommended favorable action on all items requested by the Board of Selectmen and/or School Committee and/or Capital Planning Committee, with the exception of the special legislation regarding the land swap on Stark Ave. Finance Committee feels that that is not a pure financial reason to do that. I tried to explain them that we are more than just numbers and dollars here, that this was hopefully settled. So, but that'll be, but Mr. Mullen will be arguing at town meeting, because that's his item. So a very good meeting with them, so we are on track for, I think, will be I'm predicting a one-night town meeting.
Nice. We accept the challenge. What's the, anybody have a date circled for the auditorium getting a certificate of occupancy that would allow everybody to be in there?
Yes.
So-
We are, well, it's gotta be by
the 17th at 6 o'clock.
It's gotta be by the 11th, because the Veterans Day Assembly will be.
Oh, that's right.
I think we're looking at towards the
Is it
October
good?
30th, really a week from, end of this week, next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great.
It's very close. I mean, carpeting is going down, lighting, all those things. The rest of it is, there's a lot of things about hanging certain speakers and what have you, and that's not necessarily necessary.
We need a flag, a light, and a mic. And
Exactly.
we're good, so,
Exactly.
okay. Appreciate it. Well, it's you again, Steve. Next item on the agenda is 9-11 Albion Street.
Yes, the board may recall that back this summer, we were notified by the MLD that they no longer wished to, actually back in the spring, they no longer needed the use of the town-owned property on 9-11 Albion Street. And they are out of it, and they're into their new digs. Mr. Glynn, Mr. Donaco, and Mr. Stinson and I have toured the building, and I think we're all in agreement, and jump in if I am stating anything that's not fact, that this is a fabulous opportunity for the town to have a building, a location in our downtown that we could use for the arts. We could use to encourage people to come to downtown, whether it's displaying of arts and what have you. It is a wonderful building that does need some TLC. It does need some ADA compliance. But I think that we should, with this board's permission, and I think that both Pat and Paul would agree, that we should probably go forward, get some estimates and see what we can do to get grants and what have you to reuse this building and bring it back into the downtown, make it vibrant, and bring people there to use our local businesses.
Is that something that falls under the permanent building committee, or what's the right place for that to sit? Or
I think that, I'm hoping that we can keep the expenditures low enough that we don't have to, it's not gonna be vertical construction, it's gonna be a rehab. So I would hope that we could able to bring that in under our own belt here, but we could certainly consult them if the numbers got up high enough.
Should we create, or I forget how Pat and Paul and others got involved, should we create a committee of this board, a little subcommittee that works on it, that's
I would
tasked
be,
with that? or
I
do
think
you-
we have one.
I mean,
with
is that
Pat
it?
and
So
Paul.
Pat
I think that
and
they
Paul-
volunteered at
Okay.
my behest, so I think we could
You
certainly.
know yourself, idiotized, so.
It's a wonderful building, I think both
Yeah.
will attest that it is.
Maybe we could
Go
have
ahead,
a
Pat.
teen center. or some type of element like that. But
Sure.
no, I'm happy to do it. It's a beautiful spot, and I've spoken about that building before.
Right.
Beautiful spot.
The interior is beautiful.
Yeah.
It will make if we go down the route of using it as art and culture, I've already researched, there's multiple grants that we can apply for once that component is recognized by the state as being in the community.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money at our fingertips, but you have to show them that you're moving in that direction. So I think it's a great benefit to the entire community having something set out like that. And most of your successful communities, Beverly, Salem, they all have that one component where
Yeah.
they move towards promoting what the town has to offer.
And by arts, I think we mean primarily visual arts. You're thinking like some galleries, so
Right. And
photography.
Exactly.
that
And you
kind of-
could, you could think of perhaps there's a second floor there, perhaps using that and maybe renting it out for some studios, bringing in the chamber, bringing in the events planning and having them utilize that and for the things. You could see a lot of things that could really get the downtown vibrant and what
Sure.
have you. But I think that's would be my recommendation. I think that's the subcommittee recommendation. Maybe we could move that forward, but did
Yeah.
want to bring that to the board at this time.
Great. You guys are on it. Oh, Phyllis, go ahead.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know what this building, I know where it's located, but it would be nice, you say about the arts, but hopefully there would be some way of bringing business, something that would be helpful to the town. As you say, renting it or something worthwhile that would be beneficial for the town to make some money.
We
You
hope
know,
that
not,
all.
not just for arts, but something that would,
I think, Phyllis, the idea is to have it be a destination that people will come to, and while you're there, you grab a drink or a bite to eat right around the corner, or, and
Right.
you start to have a draw and a reason for people to park and walk our sidewalks and pop into other stores while they're here for that, so.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I think that is the overarching, I think you're spot on, but it's the overarching goal, so, we'll see. All right,
Thank you.
next item up. Request from Sharon Gilly, Director of the Lucius Beebe Memorial Library, to accept and expend a gift or gifts to the library in the amount of $395 from various donors with thanks.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Paul, second by Tiz, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Last items are correspondence. We have items in our packet from the Galvin PTO, Wake Up Coalition, and Wakefield Parent Partnership flyer. I don't know if anybody wants to discuss those at all. Otherwise, comments. Go around the table.
Yep, nothing, thanks.
It's good. Steve?
3 very quick things, very quick. Number one, there's been a lot out there about Ebola. And on October 22nd, at our public safety building, with our ambulance servicer, Action Ambulance, we invited a number of other towns, cities and towns around us to kind of go through Ebola protocol on how to handle that, how our public safety personnel, first responders are gonna handle that. And we've been talking very closely with, also with Ruth Clay, our health director, so there will be more information out there and perhaps a public forum. So there's a lot of information. It's, I've done a lot of webinars and what have you, and looked at this. And our goal is to give people as much information as we can so they're not nervous and scared by it. This is an issue that isn't gonna go away, and I do think that we need to be ready tuned on items like that. Number 2, on October 10th, November 11th, there is the Veterans Day Assembly at the Galvin Middle School. This is a wonderful event. The veterans do a wonderful job with this. Our chairman has been invited to speak, as always. And this is at 11 o'clock on the 11th in the new Galvin. And I just wanted, it's in your packet, but I believe it's in their packet, but I wanted to make sure the board all had that highlighted. Number 3, on October, I don't want to get out of October, I can't, on December 3rd,
Can I
yes.
just ask you a question? It says Monday, November 11th.
Yes.
November 11th is Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, November 11th.
Tuesday, November 11th.
Excellent, thank you.
You're right, Tuesday, November 11th. Our meeting is Monday, November 10th.
Got it.
Tuesday, November 11th is that. On December 3rd, we will be having I will be inviting citizens and via the newspaper to help us test the new town website. We will have that actually up. We'll let people get on while it's under construction and to play with it, tell us what they would use, what they would like, what they don't like, and what have you. Really trying to get the citizens involved because we want this to be more user-friendly and to have a give and take back and forth component. So that'll be out in the newspaper, inviting people on December 3rd that evening at the Public Safety Building. Board is more than welcome to come and join me, but I'll be there learning as well. And finally, the last item I have is that we do need to wish Selectman Glenn very well, who is a veteran of the Boston Marathon, but has decided that he's not only turned into a Yankee fan, no, but that he is going to run in the New York Marathon on this Sunday. So I usually go watch him run, and I go to Capitol Grill and I have lunch and a drink. But I'm not flying to New York. We'll have to get the text of what you're doing. So good luck, Pat.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you.
Phyllis?
I just wanted to say one thing. I want to encourage everybody, please, everybody, come to the Veterans Day services on November 11th. A couple of years ago, the hall was packed, and then it's tape it off and tape it off. The music, the band, the services, that's the only thing I have to say. Please, everybody come, because it's a fantastic thing for people to see. And it shows your appreciation for the veterans. Thank you.
That's great. Paul?
Thank you, sir. The only thing I'm going to ask everyone to remember is everyone of the Selectmen is invited to participate in this year's holiday stroll. I think that in the packets that you received, the invitation went out. Brian, you as chairman, have been to do the speaking on the stairs of the library after the parade. All of you have been invited to walk in the parade. It's going to be a great event this year. A lot of activities are being proposed, but the invitation to the entire board is out there to participate on Saturday, December 6th from 3 to 7. The parade starts at 3, should get over roughly around 3:40. So
Should I prepare like a half hour talk?
there's going to be a lot of kids there, so it is a hat parade, so yes, so dress up accordingly, but the invitation's out there for all of the selectmen.
Super. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Patrick?
Yes, well, number one, on behalf of Betsy, please remember the food pantry, everyone. And second of all, there's a very important election coming up in a couple of weeks. I encourage everyone to get up. Very important offices up for grabs this year. And then certainly, I encourage everyone to come to the Veterans Day Memorial ceremony. It is a wonderful time, and say thank you to all the veterans. And certainly this year will be special in the new auditorium. So,
Great.
I'm good, thank you.
Tiz, good? Ann?
I'm good.
All right, great. I'll just add one thing. Steve pointed out to me that the Mass Veterans Services Association recognized our district, and in particular Ryan McLean and Andy, it's Biggio, right? Biggio, I never get that right. So Ryan McLean and Andy Biggio as Veteran Services District of the Year. So, congratulations to them, but also I'll remind folks that, that's one of the organizations we decided to share with Melrose. A lot of the good things we're doing these days involves regionalizing activities. It makes typically for a lot of these kind of smaller activities, it makes them a lot more effective, a lot more efficient, and a lot more successful, which this goes to show. So congratulations to them for their work on behalf of veterans. It seems to be the theme tonight around the table. But also congratulations to the town, because I think without having done that regionalization, we don't see those kind of results. So, good job by you, Steve, as well, for helping to pull that together. So, with that, I'll be quiet and accept any motions. What's that?
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Pat, seconded by Paul, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. That's it for tonight.
That's a wrap.